Hello, hello. So let's see what we got. It says here, a woman sues uncle for money, still expects him to help take care of father. Okay, there's a famous phrase that says money is the root of all evil. While it's generally disregarded upon uh, disagreed upon by experts, the actions of certain people, like subject of today's story, may suggest otherwise. Reddit user Garbage Floss wrote, oh, Cabbage Floss wrote about an unpleasant experience involving a cousin who successfully sued their uncle for an easy payday, but after misusing the money and running into some problems, she's now seeking help from the same people she caused a great deal of stress. Money issues among family members are always a touchy subject. Did it say something? Yeah, I got that right. The woman in the story refused to help her ailing father, so her uncle stepped in. Entitled cousin she thinks she can still be friendly with family after she sued them. This has been irking me for a while. I have two uncles that live on the other side of my country, and they mostly communicate with my mother via the phone because they're all old. Most people communicate through phone. You mean a landline? Uncle One, we'll call him Roger, is unwell and a few years ago had to move to an assisted living home. His daughter, we'll call her Barbara, lives nearby, and so does his younger brother, Uncle Two, who we'll call Kyle. It's probably like their real names, but he's like pretending it's not. Roger has had issues with dicks, drugs, his whole life. I'm going to assume drugs, and wasn't the best parent to Barbara, so she understandably hasn't always wanted to be involved with his issues. As such, he gave Kyle his power of attorney, and Kyle has been looking after him to the best of his abilities while also struggling with his own family issues. When the uncle made a profit from selling an old family property, the woman successfully sued him and claimed ownership of the money. Okay. When Roger moved to the home, he sold his house to Kyle for a steal because it was in horrible shape. Okay, so he had power of attorney, and Roger, who obviously is ailing and the house is in disrepair, sold it uh, to Kyle. And since Kyle have power of attorney, I guess someone can make the case that he kind of sold it to himself. I guess, assuming that the uncle is no longer alive, to say that he willingly gave it away. I don't know. His druggy friends had been abusing it for you. Okay, so it was drug. Kyle spent a lot of money fixing it up, then was lucky enough to sell it while real estate prices were high in the area, so he made a bit of a profit. Barbara got word of that profit and was made profit was made and wanted it. She fought Kyle for power of attorney over her dad, then sued him for the profit made on the house, claiming the money would go to Roger if she won. Okay, so she told the judge the money is going to go to her dad, but how can she sue? I don't understand. Even if she gets power of attorney, is the house still in? Oh my God. I see what happened there. Since he had power of attorney, he didn't create a freaking paper trail to say that the house transferred ownership, and he freaking sold it. He sold it under the power of attorney like a dumbass. Because he's like, I have power of attorney. I don't need to transfer anything. So he freaking sold it under the power of attorney. So the ownership still remains in Roger's name. So she got the power of attorney. So all the profits now become hers. Dumbass. I guess he didn't think family would do him like that. Wow. That's wild. A judge agreed with her that Kyle should have been given the profit to Roger, so she won several $1,000s from Kyle. The renovations he did on the house were not taken into consideration. Obviously, it's not. Obviously, it wouldn't be because the house is still in freaking Kyle's name. Freaking Roger's name. So Kyle is actually out of money, and he didn't have to pay for he didn't just have to pay the profit. He had to pay the difference between the two selling prices. Yeah, so they didn't consider how much he made on after he invested his own money. They're just like, okay, this is what the house was. This is how much you sold it for. You know, Barbara, of course, didn't give the money to Roger, but used it for herself. Obviously, she would. And I mean, she had a druggy father. You think she would turn out to be a good person? Luxury vacations, etc. The whole family knew about it. Kyle had planned on using the profit to pay for better care for Roger, but she left Roger in a crappy home because she didn't want to waste the money. She didn't want to waste the money on him, but she definitely wasted it on herself. But when Barbara misused the money and ran into some problems, she went to seek help from her uncle. She sued. Yeah, because she still have power of attorney over this man, and she's now broke, and she still got to take care of him. You sued for power of attorney. It's your responsibility. If you're not taking care of him, you're going to be in trouble. Here we are 6 months later, and she's having issues with Roger, and she still thinks she can make Kyle and my mother help her. No, lady, you wanted the money, and it comes with the responsibility of taking care of your dad alone now. Yep. The nerve of her expecting them all to still shoulder the burden she insisted she had after suing our uncle shocks me. Unfortunately, Kyle is a lovely person who will let her walk all over him and doesn't want his brother to suffer, so she will get away with this. It infuriates me. Yeah, yeah, man. That's yep. Turns out an irresponsible father raised a piece of shit for a daughter. Who would have thought? Anyways, until next time.